Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner announced on Tuesday night on Monday night, this is Tuesday when we're taping this, on Monday night that they are transferring to the University of South Carolina, for which we get all sorts of jokes, but I'm not into that, right? I'm into, this is awesome, okay? This is a great landing spot because, number one, Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner are very familiar with Shane Beamer because Shane Beamer was the head offensive assistant at Oklahoma before taking the job at South Carolina. What's a head offensive assistant? Beats the hell out of me. But he did also coach the tight ends and fullbacks at Oklahoma, which means that he was coaching Austin Stogner. That was his position coach. That one made a lot of sense to me. The one that I think threw me, even if it didn't throw everybody else, was Spencer Rattler to USC because there was even some scuttle of Spencer Rattler to USC. See what I'm saying there? Okay. Now, there was also UCLA in the mix there for a little while. And then Dylan Gabriel kind of announced that he wanted to go there too. So I was going to be interested to see how that was going to go. But Chip Kelly still got a lot of dudes to pull from. But Shane Beamer coming in their swoop and get Spencer Rattler, I thought was a great fit for both. One, Beamer is beloved by his players. Okay. Every last one of those dudes that I spoke to want to lay down in traffic for Shane Beamer. Okay. And there was a very loud yell to bring him home to South Carolina after having been an assistant there before when that job came open when they fired Will Muschamp. Now, the other part about this that I found to be really cool is South Carolina took a grad assistant off the shelf in Zeb Nolan, whose claim to fame at one point was going for like 300 against Oklahoma at Iowa State and having been quarterback for like 2 seconds at North Dakota State during the spring, then became GA at South Carolina. Luke Doty goes down, and then they have to replace, I think, the 25th highest recruit ever at South Carolina in Luke Doty with a GA in Zeb Nolan, and they rode that to 6-6, which means my man Javion fell one win short of winning the bet that was made on his show of South Carolina getting to 7. Now, I'm a collect, but I also need to say, your boy was sweating. Your boy was sweating because they knocked off not just Florida, who ended up not being very good, but Auburn, who had taken Alabama to the wire in OT. Matter of fact, shout out to Miss Terry, who was just all sorts of excited to see her husband in the hallway after that. Love that. Miss Terry, who said famously, see? Actually, I got to back up on this one because I got to tell this one. This is just a segue right quick. We got to do it. All right. So Nick Saban and Miss Terry, his wife, are in West Virginia. And they're driving through his hometown, right? Where his father, Nick, used to own a gas station. Where Nick Saban used to work at the gas station. He was Big Nick. Nick Saban was Little Nick. Okay. So find out the gas station is owned by somebody else. At this time, Nick Saban is who he is at Alabama. And he points to the gas station and says, see, if you'd have married that dude, who also is the boyfriend or former boyfriend of Miss Terry, who owns the gas station, you'd be running the gas station with him. You'd be working at the gas station. See what I did? See what I saved you from? Because we men, we like to think that we big and we bad and we did everything. Miss Terry didn't miss a beat. She launched an expletive, which Ryan said bull and spit, and said, bull spit, I would be, sorry, he would be the head coach in Alabama. I love that story. I love that story so much. It's because I got a special thing right here for coaches' wives because they're doing all the work that nobody talks about because all coaches got to do is get up and go coach football. Ask a football coach who Penny Mac is, okay? And if they tell you something about the Beatles, you know they don't know what they're talking about, okay? Ask them who Fannie Mac is, okay? If they tell you it's an old girlfriend, they don't know what they're talking about. Point here being, I'm here for Shane Beamer, and I'm here for Spencer Rattler, I'm here for Austin Stogner, because that feels like a fun football team. It feels like a football team everybody can root for. It feels like a football team everybody wants to succeed. And they got some really great games on the schedule this year, okay? They get Clemson, which, for the Palmetto State Championship. They also play South Carolina State. Shout out to them for giving an HBCU football team an opportunity to make a little bit of money, but also keep it in state. They play Arkansas, which is going to be so much fun, which is one of the few SEC teams that's not going to see a quarterback change. But I'm so excited for what Spencer gets to have, which is an SEC experience in the SEC East, where the challenger, obviously for me right now, has to be them to Georgia because Florida's going to be mostly building from jump, but also because you get to play Missouri. That's a Big 12 school to me still. You get to play Texas A&M, which if you can go get one over the top on them, every Oklahoma fan is also going to love you for that. This is an easy team for OU fans, for Big 12 fans to root for, but also it's a great redemption story for a kid that was a star when he got recruited. Going back to 2017, Lincoln Riley's first commitment, and this is trivia most people would miss, it's not Spencer Rattler, it's Austin Stogner. Okay? Second commitment was Spencer Rattler. And that 2019 class was the one for which I thought a national championship roster would be built on for this year. Didn't happen for all the reasons that you know. But all those dudes are mostly to the win, right? Trajan Bridges got into trouble off the team, okay? Theo Weiss is in the transfer portal. Jaden Hazelwood transferred to Arkansas. Austin Stogner and Spencer Rattler, they're at South Carolina. EJ and Doma Ogar's at Mizzou. It just didn't work out. But he took hits on the head for what this program ended up being in 2021. He's the only quarterback that Lincoln Riley has ever benched, like really benched. And he held that. Even after being 15-2 as a starter, even after winning the Cotton Bowl, even after winning a Big 12 championship, he watched a younger quarterback take his job, be beloved by you and I, and held it together. He didn't go vent. He didn't yell and scream. He asked for a couple days, like you or I might need a couple of days. We've been fired, because that's potentially how it feels. And then he came back to work. Now he's found a landing spot where I hope Shane Beamer is in a position to love him and where he becomes the first 5-star quarterback out of high school ever to lace up for South Carolina. Okay? That would make him one of the top 6, I believe 6 or 7 recruits in South Carolina history had he done this out of high school. And for a dude that came out of Pinnacle who had the lights on him quite literally, Netflix's QB1 Beyond the Lights, who was the only 5-star at a time when most people said there weren't any, and what we think of as a not-so-good quarterback class that he was supposed to be a part of in this 2022 NFL draft class, he's going to give it another go. He's going to try to make this work and have a good time. And he's got his partner in crime, a 6'6", 250-pound target in Austin Stogner, to do that with. Gamecock fans, be excited, man. Spencer's personal to me. When I just started doing the show, like before I knew what I was doing, Spencer was kind enough to talk to me, who he didn't really know, and I didn't really know, in his car in high school, right? And this is back when I just had a podcast. It wasn't like on YouTube or anything. And I have done nothing but been impressed by how he has performed and how he has managed to be himself and what he has been through and put himself through, quite honestly. He made some trouble for himself. But he didn't back down, and he was never a coward about it. And that means the world to me. Being loyal, being brave. They're not as common traits as you might think they are. But Spencer Rattler is both. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 ranked show YouTube channel.